Hi everybody, this is Sundis again, and I am here to challenge you with something new today. So the challenge that I have today is to create a React and Firebase app that allows you to share a text or a message or anything of the sort or a note to another person with a link. For example, you have something on your mind and you just want to jot it down and share it with somebody. It's a simple utility. You can just go over to the web and paste whatever you have on your mind, if it's a note, if it's a message or anything, and then just create a link for that note and then share that link with the person, whoever you want to share it with. So that's the utility that we are going to make today. It's going to be based on React, Tailwind, and Firebase. We are choosing Firebase because it's easy. If we were to go for MongoDB, we would have to create a Node.js server as well alongside. This way we get to save a lot of time by having a serverless architecture. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start the timer here. Okay, so the time that I'm allowed to make this app is 1 hour. Let's see how quickly we can make this. Let's start the timer. Actually, I'm going to reset it once. The reason why I'm resetting is because I want that time to wait. Let me just see how can we change the sound that comes out of it. I think there should be a settings option over here. Let's just, by the way, this is the app focus timer available on the App Store for macOS, which I'm using, and here is the background noise, which we set to silent. And now we can go back to our timer over here and we can now start it up. It's actually the count up timer. Okay, cool. I'm gonna clear up my terminal. I have already opened up a folder in my VS Code, and let's just start with creating a React app using Vite. I actually want to create this app inside this folder instead of making an extra folder for the app. So I'm going to use this /. Okay, we use React with JavaScript, and now we run npmi. npmi and npm install are the same commands. It's npmi is the shorter version for npm install. This is going to install all of the dependencies of our app for us. While it installs the dependencies, I would suggest that we go to our Firebase console and create a new Firebase project for us. Let's call it paste and share. Cool, I accept the terms. Well, okay. As this is a brand new account, I'm not using my original account. Okay. We don't need Google Analytics here, so we are going to skip that. While Firebase prepares our project, I'm just going to quickly introduce what we are going to use from Firebase. Specifically, we are going to use the Firestore database. It's going to just help us store our data from the front-end side onto the cloud-based Firebase database. Firebase is from Google, so our data will be hosted on Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so our project is all set up. Well, not really. We have to set up the database now. So you see, I've selected the Firebase database from the project overview page. You can go and do the same thing. Meanwhile, while this happens, we can also install Tailwind into our project, since we will be needing it for styling. Let's go and install Tailwind CSS, and we'll also add these configurations into our Vite config. By the way, I would really encourage if you guys would also take on all of these challenges that I do along with me, and post your videos, tag me in there, and we can see who does it best and in the least time as well. It can just be a very small healthy competition between us. Okay, we are also going to import Tailwind CSS in our CSS file over here. We don't need all of the CSS, and we also don't need it over here. We can go to our app.jsx and just remove these. We don't need this. We also don't need this. We can just simply add a div over here and an h1, right? And we'll give this the class name. This is, I'm doing just to test out if our Tailwind installation is working. So I'm gonna go bg amber 200 font, sorry, text black, and this we are going to say class name text for Excel. Amazing. Okay, so we don't need this assets folder as of now, not that I can think of. If we needed it again, we will create it. We can remove this public folder as well from here. We don't need that either. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and do npm run dev to test out if our Vite app is working properly. I already have the URL set over here, and I'm just gonna, okay, so our app is absolutely working fine. Tailwind is working for us. Cool. So the next step would be to create a database. It's going to have a default ID. You see it's disabled here. It's not allowing me to change it, which means we don't have to change it. The database is going to have a default ID. We can start it in test mode, and then later on we can change it. If we are to go live with our app, if we deploy this app on a live server and make it public for public use, in that case we will be changing the mode of this Firestore database to production. Right, I'm going to just go over here and change the rules a little bit. So you see it says allow read and write if something and that. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to skip that. So for now we are going to skip this, so that our document is allowed in any case. So we are allowed to make changes, and we are also allowed to read from the database. Now if we go back, cool. So our database is all set up. Now what we are going to do is we are going to install Firestore and all of these things, Firebase and related utilities on our app. And to do that, okay, so let's go back. We are going to open up another server over here. Oh, sorry, another terminal. This is the integrated terminal of VS Code. PMI, Firebase, React, router DOM, nanoid. So I'm going to go over what nanoid is, and I'll tell you how that works. Okay, let's go over here and I'll show you what nanoid is used for. nanoid is an npm utility which is used to generate a unique id against something, right? So it's a utility that you use to generate a unique id for any document or any message or anything. Like you can have a document with a lot of items in it, and then you want to create a unique id for that document so that you can access that document using that unique id. Then nanoid comes into play then. Okay, so we have npm I running still. Let's see how far that goes. Okay, it's done. Cool. Okay. I think it's Firebase init that allows us to create a new Firebase setup in our account. Yes, okay, we have a real-time database. Oh. So you were supposed to select it with a space bar. Okay, we're not going to use functions, we are going to use Firestore. I think this is my other account connected. So the process for creating Firestore database is the same that I have told you before, but this is another account of mine connected. So I'm going to go and create a new project over here. Please specify a unique ID. I'm going to say paste and share. Okay. This project ID can be the same. Oh, we still have failed to create project because there's already a project with ID. Okay, let's try with the already set up and then here's an existing one. Also, yeah, this is my other account connected and it says we can't create a project ID with that name, so we are going to change the name of the project once again, create a new project, and we're going to call it paste this time, and paste, we can just call it paste here. Okay, same can work. It's not creating a project for us. Okay, so let me just try and do this manually. Okay. Okay, let's find out where are our we need to find out the API keys and related stuff so that we can use it. Okay, build with Gemini. Where is our API key and stuff? Okay, we have to register an app first. We can also call it page share. Well, let's do that. Okay, register app. So Firebase also comes with a real-time database and a hosting setup, authentication setup as well. You can go ahead on the Firebase, you can go ahead and read about it on the Firebase website. Okay. Okay. So this is we have already done npm install Firebase. We don't need to do that again. Now what we have to do is we have to create a firebase.js file over here and paste it. We have all the configurations over here. We can go to next and we can install the tools. So these tools are already installed for me. What you have to do is, you saw that I did Firebase init previously. That Firebase init was working because I have Firebase CLI and its tools installed. When you are installing Firebase for the first time, you'd have to install Firebase-CLI and Firebase-tools to make everything work for you as well, the same way it does for me. Even though like I already have this installed, it's taking quite a lot of time. Setting up projects on the live server is almost always a pain. It takes some time to set it up. Well, once you are well versed with it, if you have gone through the process of more than a few times, I think it's absolutely okay and it won't take a lot of time. So you see, once this part is done, once our Firebase tools are installed, what we are going to do next is we are going to do Firebase login, and then it's going to ask us to log in, right? And then I'm going to change my account from the other one to this one so that we can utilize this account and its facilities. Then we are going to do Firebase init, and once we are ready, just a simple command Firebase deploy. So I will tell you once we are done with the app how can we use Firebase deploy to deploy our app on our live domain. Okay, we are done. Now we can go ahead and we can do Firebase login. So you see it says already logged in. I'm gonna try Firebase logout. Right, and then I'm gonna try Firebase login again. We don't want Firebase to be connecting anything. This is the account that I'm using right now. Please don't get bothered with the name. Okay, we're going to allow everything. Firebase was successfully logged in. Now we can go ahead and do Firebase init. Right, we already have a Firestore account, an existing project. We already have an existing project and we already have one project only, right? So it's going to set everything up for us. What file should we use to write for Firestore rules? It's going to write in Firestore rules by default if I don't provide a name, so we are going to go with the default. Again, the default for Firestore indexes, and our Firebase setup is complete. So cool, everything is all set up. Perfect. Now what we can go back to our console and our Firestore database. Cool, there are no problems here. I'm going to just do a couple of settings over here. I'm going to import get Firestore. I'm going to import collection. I'm going to import add doc. I'm going to import get doc. These are all the Firebase functions that will be helping us in creating our documents on the Firestore. from Firebase Firestore. Amazing. A little of setup over here as well. What we are going to do here is we are going to do const db exactly get Firestore app, and then export all of the stuff that we imported up there. Cool. Now what we can do is, actually we can go ahead and put this in our source function. It's going to be easier to import from there. We can go to our app.csx and okay, let's just first create the UI for our app. Okay, what do you think are we going to need for the UI? We are going to need a message box where the user can enter their message, and then a button below which says, you know, generate link or share, and then something like a message box or something below as well, which shows us the link that we can copy. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you can think of? Okay, let's start with that. Paste, we are going to call our app paste and share, and let's do this with border 0, margin 0, width would be full, height would be screen, and padding would be 5, and we can do text center. Awesome. The color though, it's very weird, so what we can do is maybe use a gray instead. That looks nice. Okay, now let's go and create another div over here, and let's make a text area. Oh, well, it's already giving me, so GitHub Copilot is an AI utility provided by GitHub that allows you to use publicly available code anywhere on the internet, which it thinks it suits best for your project or your application, right? And here what we can do is we can create a button. Let's see. The button color is extremely dark. I don't like such. We can use a light nice color, and we can also use for hover here pink 300. Text, we are going to use black. I like pastel colors more, so every time I'm working on an app or something, you will be seeing a lot of pastels in the apps, right? Let's see, how does this look like? Oh my god, it looks ridiculous. Okay, so we don't need font bold. We can have px to 8, py to 4, and we can have our width to maybe lg. Sorry, height can be 48. It can have a border gray 200, and let's see how that looks. Oh, it's actually the same color, so we can have this as 400. I wouldn't set the border colors, and we can also have it rounded. And last name, okay, flex. Okay, let's not use flex, let's instead use grid calls 1. Cool. And max width can be to Excel. Margin can be auto. This should center everything for us. And now we can actually give this width full so it matches everything else, right? Nice. I think instead of using gray 200 over here, we can just use BG Vite, which will work fine for us. And we can use BG gray 200, sorry, body gray 200 over here for a better look. Nice. Cool. Okay, now we have to design that shareable link, another div over here. Below this, we can have a state, and we can call it const is link ready, and set it initially to false, right? But we are going to first design it over here. Instead, let's use a span. Instead, let's turn it to true first so we can see it. Span, and in this span we can have HTTPS, your link here /XYZ. Okay, this can be our link, and we can give this span some class name. Width can be max, and max width can be LG. BG can be below 200, and text black, and font mono. Cool. We can give it some padding as well, padding 4, just to make it look a little nicer. We can make this class name and give it margin of 8 so that it comes all the way down. And we can have a P over here that says your link is ready to be shared. Click to copy. Oh, it's actually coming all the way behind it. So we can give this some margins as well. Margin 8. Oops. Oh, actually. What's the problem here? Let me just check quickly. Oh, so our P needs class name MB8. We don't need MB8. We can do this with MB4 and hide. This is just MT8. Cool. Now you see this is originally showing. We don't need it to show. We can actually also have another one over here and call it link. Set link. Initially it's going to be false. We are going to use that link over here to show, right? And since we are using here is link ready, if we turn it to initially false, this is not going to show for us, but this is also this is showing as well. So we are going to do the same thing over here as well. Is link ready, and we're going to close the brackets over here. Perfect. Now it's not showing, right? But if we have a link, if we set a value for the link, it's going to show. Now we have to take the message, const text and set text. Cool. We have set up text and link as states, and we are going to take that value is equals to text, and we are going to change equals to handle message change, and we are going to create this function right over here, exactly this way, and set text as e.target.value. Now e here is the event that we are going to get from the click or the change. It's in this case it's change, and now all we have to do is perform an on-click function and save message. We're going to save this up, and we are going to async function, and now we are going to perform the database operations that we need to perform, right? First of all, what we are going to do is we are going to import our items that we exported from our Firebase file. It was DB, it was collection, add docs, exactly, that's that. But there are a couple of things missing over here that we also need, which is get doc and doc. Okay, we also need to import nanoid, which is import nanoid from nanoid. We also need browser router. You're going to import browser router as router, and then we are also going to import route, also routes, and use params and use navigate. Sorry, use params, use navigate. I'm going to explain all this and tell you why we are importing all of this. So on our handle save, all we have to do is we have to take the text, we have to create an ID for it, and then we have to put it into our database, right? So first of all, we have the text already. The changes with the text are handled over here, right? So what I'm going to do is if not text dot trim, we are going to do return. Over here the function is going to return automatically if the text does not exist. I made a mistake over here. Alright, and now what we have to do is we have to create a nanoid. Okay, so what does this nanoid function do? Okay. Okay, we can just go ahead and not use this 10 over here. I'm not very much aware. Okay, what we can check it over here. Oh, so it's the size of the ID. We can use 10. It's the size means the length of the ID, how long it's going to be. So we can use definitely 10 over here, and then we can go ahead and okay, we can just simply use await add doc to our collection, where our collection has a DB, and we can call it notes. Okay, and then we can just go ahead and add. We also would want to add, what are we missing? So this is closing over here, and we don't need this. Okay, we also need something else. It's called a timestamp. When was this message created, right? So we can do this date.now. This is going to add a timestamp to the document. Now what we can do is, okay, here we can do set link. It's going to be, well, actually that's accurate. So it's going to set the link to be the link of our app against the ID of the document, right? So once we have that ID, we can fetch it and use that ID to fetch the message as well that we need to see. Okay, so here's what we are going to do next. We are going to use navigate. Const navigate. The use navigate function is used to navigate in the browser router, which is provided by React. We are going to okay, cool. So let's do something. We need to change the architecture just a little bit. Okay, we need to create another function, another component over here, and let's call it, what can we call it? We can call it the view text component, JSX. And we can also have another one component over here, which we are going to call the home component. The home component is going to hold all of the stuff. Oh my god. The home component is going to hold all of our stuff over here, which is in our app component, right? And we are going to change this from app to home over here, and home over here as well. We don't need this over here, and everything else seems fine, right? We can go ahead and actually we need the use navigate over here. We don't need probably the rest of them, maybe. Yes, actually we don't need the rest of them. We don't need these, do we? We don't need these either. Let me just, yeah, our job here is done. So let me just go ahead over here and empty this entirely. Here what we are going to have is, we are going to have our router over here. Okay, let's do router. Oh, there. Routes, and then we are going to define our routes over here. Our home element is going to be, this is not node, actually it's view text. We are going to import home and view text. Import home from home. Cool. We can just close the extra stuff so we have a better visibility. And we don't need these over here. we don't need either of these over here. We can just have CSS. We actually don't need that either. So I'm going to delete it and take it out. Cool. Okay. Now we can go to our view text component, and we are going to define our component over here. It's called view text. The snippet that I used is coming from React snippets. Here we are just going to have a simple div which can show us a p element with all the message that shows, right? Okay, so oh my god, what is this? Oh, I actually forgot to drop out div. And here we are going to have a p text with, here we are going to have a const id. This id we are going to get from use params, which is going to be imported from React Router DOM. Use params, what it does for us is it imports, takes out the route params and gives us in the form of variables or constants, or however way you want to store it. Here we can have text and set text. Absolutely, that works well. Initially we can set it to loading, and then what we can do here is we can set up a use effect. And changes, so use effect takes effect every time there is a change in the variable that is variable or item that we put over here. So every time id is changed, it's going to change for us. Now what we are going to do is const fetch text, this async function. Const doc, we actually have to do doc reference. Okay, and now we are fetching the document from Firebase doc snap. That works well. If our doc snap it exists, then we are going to set the text to the text from the document snap. Else set text to text not found or expired. And what? Where is this? Okay, we need another one. Awesome. Now all we have to do is set text over here. Nice. Okay, I think we should be good to go. Let's just, okay, we have an error. Let me just go ahead and see. Does not provide get Firestore. Okay, so we have a problem the Firebase module that we have is not providing an export called get Firestore. We are going to check for why is it not providing it. Let's just Google this error and see what's the problem. Do we have... Oh, I actually caught the problem. It's not get Firestore. Okay, cannot destructure property base name of undefined. It's undefined at home. Just what? Okay, we don't need this over here. Let's just... Okay, cool. Let's try and send a message. What can we call our message? Hello, this is my new message. Can you receive it? Share. Okay, we haven't received anything. We can just here console log document and say share. Oh, we have an ID over here, and set link was set, but we didn't get to change it. We didn't get to see. Oh, we also have to do yes, this. Cool. Perfect. Now we have our link ready. Now if we copy this and if we paste this into a new tab and we have an error, let's see what the error is all about. We are very short on time. I actually spent a lot of time explaining things to you. Use state is not defined. Oh my god. View text, and we have to define use state over here. Okay, it's loading. And why are you unable to fetch? Oh, because the fetch text is not being called anywhere. Where should we call it? Where can we call it? I think the best place to call it is over here. Fetch text. Cool. Dog is not defined. Oh, we didn't define anything. Import Firebase. We also need to import other things like doc, get doc. I think this is it. Cannot read properties of undefined index of view text. Just it's 11. What? Okay. Let's see what our database is called. It's called nodes, and we have like 4 nodes in here. But is some reason it's being unable to fetch it. Why are you wasting our time? Cannot read properties of undefined index of Much text. Are we missing something? Can you guys see something that I cannot? The problem is showing over here. But what is the problem? Okay, if we do this without the reference and we do this with collection db notes, I think let's just try it out. Again, it says index of is not a function. Oh my god. We are very behind on time. Let's go to that. Okay, we have to add this where clause. Let's try to do this. Where is not defined. Again, the problem remains the same. First of all, it's actually doing it at the rate. This is not our. Couple of fixes that I needed to do, one of which was we needed to query it properly, for which we needed a couple of more things, where and query, which we imported from Firebase and Firestore. The problem here was that we are storing our ID as a part of the document. We are not storing our ID as the document ID. So I'm going to explain this over here. So you see each document in the notes database has an ID, a unique identifier of its own, and then it has an ID over here. This is the ID that we're generating from what is it called? Nano ID, right? This is the ID that we're generating from Nano ID. And this is the ID that Firebase is generating on its own. So we were trying to use this ID to fetch the document by matching it to this ID. That is the problem that we sorted out over here by adding where clause and using a query to get query snapshot. And then if the query snapshot is empty, what we are going to do is we are going to, if it's not empty, then it means that we have fetched the data. We'll set the text to the doc data.text, and then we move on. Otherwise, it's an error. So that was a fix that was needed. A small Firebase API related issue. We can try another message and see. Hello, testing with this new message. Can you receive it? And see, share. We have our new link, right? We can copy this link. We can go over here. We can simply paste the link and we have the message. We can just make this look a little prettier. It looks ugly right now. Okay, we can go class name, PG, gray, 200, font, no, actually text, 2XL, P4, M0, edge should be screen, and width should be full. Okay, that looks better. We can further make it look nicer with time and effort. But for now, I'm gonna close it over here. We have 1 hour and 5 minutes, and I'm going to close it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. I would love if you guys would perform this challenge on your own as well, and then share your videos with me. I'm sure you guys will do much better than I did. I spent a lot of time explaining, and I spent a lot of time talking to you guys, and that's how some time was slipped out. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have liked the video.